I'd like to welcome everyone to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Nicholas County Commission. Today is Wednesday, July 24th, 2024, and it is now 9:20 a.m. We have anything for public comment? And did anybody mean to sign up for public comment? Always like to check. Okay, we do not have anyone that is signed in for public comment. So if one of you gentlemen would please begin with the motion.
Make a motion that we review and waive reading of the July 10, 2024 minutes.
That motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon review of the exonerations as presented by the Nicholas County Assessor, move to approve accordingly.
That motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon review of estate and fiduciary matters as presented by the Nicholas County Clerk, move to approve accordingly unless otherwise noted.
That motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.
Upon submission of budget revisions received from the elected officials and department heads, the commission will take appropriate action as deemed necessary.
That motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against? What's your vote, Commissioner?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, I know.
Okay. That being said, the motion does pass.
Upon review of invoices as submitted by various departmental heads, the commission will take the appropriate action as deemed necessary.
That motion is on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those against, the motion does carry. That being said, we do not have any terms of office expiring here this morning. Looks like we need to set up for the Oscar Tharp file at 9:20, but 9:10 we do have a canceled and rescheduled appointment of the Theodore McClung Jr. file number 10667. But it has been mutually agreed upon by the clerk's office to reschedule, so perhaps we will table that. Okay, we're here now at the for the appointment for the Oscar Tharp file, estate file 9170. This is regarding final determination of final settlement. We do have a whole host of individuals, but we do have Mr. Henry Wood from appearing by Zoom, and Jacob Shuck, both legal counsel, and Mr. Shuck here in the room. Each commissioner was tasked with taking a little time to review, reflect, etc., so on how we need to proceed with this. I'd like to begin actually with legal counsel, if you have anything to share with the commission.
Well, I think I might simplify it for you, and I'm not sure why there was a pleadings filings yesterday in this matter. The issue for the commission is whether to accept or reject the initial, let me phrase it, reconsider the determination by the commission to reject the recommendations of the fiduciary commissioner, and if you do that, you would enter an order approving that or adopting those recommendations, which would result obviously in an appeal from the other side or have a hearing. I understand that Mr. Bischoff, who was the previous fiduciary commissioner, was contacted, sent down what he had, but the problem in this case right now is there's no record. The tapes from the previous hearings are not available. They cannot be located. So there is no record to appeal from, which is a problem to go to circuit. My guess is the circuit court would remand it because there is no record. You have to create a record. So I think at this point, because there is no record, you're going to probably either have a hearing or not have a hearing.
What happened yesterday? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
There was filings from each side yesterday, less than 24 hours before this hearing.
All these here. I thought you meant something in the civil court.
But the big issue in this case right now, and it's gone on forever, and I don't know how this is, we've had 3 different fiduciary commissioners. I don't know where the tapes are. So there is no record.
Do either legal counsel have anything to share on where those tapes might be located or any knowledge of that?
No, I have no knowledge of where the tapes are.
Beneficiaries Council has no knowledge of that, Judge. Or Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you both. I'm gonna take my chair up so it quits leaking on. You saw what happened when somebody did that last time, how I felt about that.
So if we have our own hearing here, we act as fiduciaries. And
You are a probate court, you're acting as probate court under those circumstances.
so we will hear our own evidence and witnesses and who brings the witnesses? The two attorneys?
Attorneys.
And if we make a ruling in that
Sorry.
hearing, they still have the right to go upstairs and appeal it regardless.
Yeah, and the benefit to that, frankly, is you're creating a record that the circuit judge could rely on in the appeal. That's what's missing.
If we had the Bischoff record, it probably wouldn't be necessary.
If we had the hearing before, let's see, it was Harley Stallings first, I believe, Bischoff and Whitlock, we would have we could transcribe that and we would have a record. And then you would, and perhaps you could understand why the previous, because none of you all sat on the commission at that time, you could understand why the previous commission acted the way they did.
Because they just rejected it. Correct.
Which frankly is something is rare.
Yeah, there had to been a reason there. We need a motion.
You might want to hear from the other
Okay.
attorneys.
Yes, let's begin, let's see. Yeah, Mr. Wood, your parties are making the complaint, is that right? I've been reading through this.
Yes.
Okay, so we
Yes.
will begin with you if you'd like to basically give us a brief final statement, and then the commission will discuss after that.
Yeah, Commissioners, as you know from your record, this matter of the objection to whether or not certain assets should be included within the estate of Oscar Tharp or not, has been referred to a commissioner, to a fiduciary commissioner. The dilemma has always been is that there's never been a hearing for anyone to present any evidence regarding that issue. Should the assets of these various bank accounts be included in the estate, or should they not be included in the estate and considered a gift by Mr. Tharp to his wife, the executors? So, our simple request at this point, and I hate to ask you to appoint another fiduciary commissioner, but somebody to take evidence or hear evidence, unless you gentlemen would like to hear evidence, involving the facts surrounding this issue. They've just not been developed. And as Mr. Tucker mentioned, an appeal of your decision is on the record. So we have to make a record of the facts here at this level. Whoever wants to appeal it. If you end up deciding, or the fiduciary commissioner recommends that these assets be included in the estate, and you agree, then Mr. Shook will probably want to appeal, and he needs a record to appeal upon. You know, facts to appeal upon, conclusions of law to appeal to the circuit court on. Similarly, if we present the evidence and you all believe that these assets, these 20-some accounts that were retitled days after Mr. Tharp was released from very serious illness in December of 2015, were intended to be a gift, a complete gift to his wife, cutting out all the beneficiaries in his will, then the facts that form the basis of that conclusion, again, the beneficiaries then have a right and can appeal to the circuit court. But again, as Mr. Tucker mentioned, we're kind of hamstrung here because there's been no taking of evidence, even though 3 separate commissioners since the one commissioner's recommendation to decline this objection was not accepted by the commission. Because at one point in time, a fiduciary commissioner said, well, you shouldn't, this is a gift, that's it, you know, let's close the estate. That recommendation was not accepted by the commission. Then we've had 3 other fiduciary supervisors involved in this. The last one died, the one before that resigned, the one before that took a job as I think, a family law judge. So we're kind of stuck again with the situation where we have no record to appeal and really no factual basis, we believe, a complete factual basis for you commissioners to make a decision. That's all. That's what we're asking for now. We're kind of asking for an opportunity to present this evidence.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wood. And now Mr. Shuck.
Yeah, sure. Well, our position is that a hearing is unnecessary in the county commission because, and you heard what Mr. Woods is asking you to do. He's asking you to have a trial on the issue of constructive fraud, which is clearly a circuit court case. We have over 100 years of authority in West Virginia saying that that is an issue squarely within the jurisdiction of the circuit court. So the issue is, it would be fruitless to have a hearing at the county commission level because the relief that he's asking you to grant can't be granted here. And if you had if you had reservations about your authority to adjudicate a claim for constructive fraud, the best way that you could maybe punt that to circuit court is to enter an order approving the final settlement. And then if Mr. Wood would appeal that, and if the circuit court wants it to come back down for a hearing, it's going to come back down for a hearing. So that would be a way for you guys to avoid having to make the decision yourself at this stage too. So, but as far as Mr. Wood's complaints that there's been no record, he's had multiple bites at the apple. I mean, this is the 3rd hearing that we've had just since I've been involved in the case. I think the question that everybody in this room should be asking Mr. Wood is why he didn't file in circuit court when he had the chance. So that should be the issue of everyone here. So for those brief reasons, I think that the final settlement should be approved by the county commission, and Mr. Woods can appeal that to circuit court if he wishes.
Thank you.
I don't know whether I agree with Mr. Wood's assertion that there was never any evidence presented. We don't know that because we don't have a record. We don't know what happened in those before the previous fiduciary commission.
Yeah.
You know, I need to amend what I said. The last commissioner who actually subpoenaed bank records did file with your commission under seal numerous bank records showing the retitling of these accounts within days, within 3 days following release from a hospital or discharge from a hospital. So obviously we strenuously disagree with your ability. In November of 2017, the objection to the closure of this estate was made by then attorney Milam in Nicholas County. Since then, there has been requests for a hearing. Again, we've had several fiduciary commissioners who have just not scheduled that hearing. For various reasons, as I've outlined before. We strenuously disagreed with counsel for the executors. Once an objection to an estate, to an asset that has been excluded from the state, has been made, this is exactly the matter, a probate matter, that the commission has initial jurisdiction over. And we've tried to outline cases, and there are numerous cases on this. The most recent, I've sent copies to the council, to commissioners. So, the idea here is that a fiduciary commissioner will be appointed, like in these other cases, and one of the cases, especially Cochran, to take evidence and make recommendations, findings of fact, recommendations of law, like every fiduciary commissioner does when he has a hearing, and then he makes those recommendations to the commission. You guys accept or reject it, and then an appeal can be taken to the circuit court, because that appeal is on the record. The reason, so to say that you can't have a hearing at this point to determine whether an asset should be included or not included, when an appeal on that decision is on that record that is made before you gentlemen, makes no sense. Because the record needs to be made in front of you gentlemen. It's a probate matter. It has to do with whether or not an asset should be included or excluded. So, here we are. I know it's years later, certainly, but again, the only record I know of that's made is by the commissioner, who's now a family law judge, who actually subpoenaed the bank records, and they're filed under seal in the files of this case.
The issue before you is whether to have a hearing or not have a hearing, not what evidence could be produced at that hearing. You will determine that at the hearing if you decide to have a hearing. But there is no record, so that's a problem.
Is there any discussion or motions?
I would like to make a motion that we have a hearing for us.
Okay, so that motion's on the floor. Any discussion? Do we have a guideline or anything like that the commission could prepare itself with of what to expect and how it to be held and all that? And I guess I'm probably gonna have to ask a lot of questions, especially for my sake.
We can do that. I can get you that before the hearing if that's what the wish of the commission.
If that's what we.
Or we can have the prosecutor do it.
We want a time frame together as well, right?
Hey.
Yeah.
We don't spend hours and days, and
Yeah, I think you said it for, how long, if you have a hearing, how long does it, I guess the question is, how long does each side need to present their evidence?
As far as the beneficiaries are concerned, I think we could get Mrs. We'd like to take, of course, the executor's deposition. She's in Texas. I guess that could be difficult. But nevertheless, I don't think it would take more than a day at all.
I think they're far less than that.
And certainly we would want the commission to issue a subpoena for minute records and have those records, be delivered to the commission so that you could open them at that time, so there'd be no question as to legitimacy or authenticity.
I'm not sure that we have that ability.
Well, a fiduciary commissioner has the ability to issue subpoenas.
I think a day is a stretch. This is not circuit court.
I can also issue a subpoena to have those returned to the county commission on a certain date, whenever that hearing would be.
I'm not even sure that there are depositions. You have the right to order depositions, so we'll have to go through that. But I would set it for a couple hours, and that's their time, if that's the route you decide to go.
Council, I guess all I'm saying is that there's sufficient
2
time to
hours
get these.
per side.
Yeah, whatever you think. Well, we haven't heard from the other side yet.
Please.
So, no, if we have a hearing, yeah, it would take far less than a day, and I'd like Mr. Tucker agree that the county commission can order, it'd be a stretch to say that you could order a deposition or issue subpoenas. I think that what you'd be limited to is just having oral testimony in the hearing.
That's traditionally how it's been handled. I mean, if they have medical records to produce, the executors could produce it.
Not to put you on the spot, but.
So you treat it just like discovery. Let's assume 3 of you are the judicial panel. Then you should set guidelines and timelines for them to produce discovery to each other, which if those medical records exist, then you set a scheduling order. That will give both parties the opportunity to review whatever evidence is to be submitted. If you might have to determine whether it's admissible or not. It doesn't sound like there's anything going to be inadmissible before you, but so you just have to treat it like a court hearing, and you're going to set timelines and demand that those be held, and they can file whatever they need to if the other side doesn't produce. So you are the judges, right? So set a scheduling
I
order.
know we're gonna act like it.
You're setting as the privy. And frankly, traditionally, that's why it's been sent to a fiduciary commissioner, typically a lawyer that knows the rules of evidence and how those things are presented. You're at a disadvantage because of that.
Wish we still had some around. And you can confirm we don't have any fiduciary commissioners, right? Yeah. Thank you. Any further discussion?
I would leave that door open though in case, give you the right to do that if someone would agree to do that. You would have the right to make that referral, otherwise it would falls to you.
But there's only a couple, so you may be able to talk them into a one-time thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Doesn't sound like anybody wants to do it full-time, but you may be able to get somebody to do it once.
Take the day, produce a report.
Well, that's a lot, right? And then the estate has to pay that.
Right.
So there's going to be a large cost if you hire an attorney to sit and then do scheduling orders and have hearings.
And typically, the fiduciary will require a fee in advance because they don't tend to get paid after the fact.
We, Beneficiaries Council has no objection to asking a fiduciary or appointing a fiduciary commissioner from outside the county also, if one neighboring county would be happy to, serve in this one case.
Maybe only
So
one time.
I don't know if that's a consideration by the commissioners, but if no one's available in the county, we have no objection for that.
It's just wouldn't hurt to ask her again.
About Scott.
I wouldn't mind. Scott, be all right.
Oh, you want to do that now?
I think they'll do,
I'm sorry.
make those calls in a couple of minutes and see if that's an option right now, or if that's something they'd be able to answer. You think they would answer?
I would think that someone would have to look at the file to
Okay.
decide if they wanted to do it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get an answer just
Take
by
a
phone
phone
call.
Maybe we could just amend the letter when we recommend a fiduciary hearing, whether it be us or we find a fiduciary.
Yes.
So I'll amend my motion to that it go to a fiduciary hearing, whether it be us or an actual fiduciary.
Give ourselves, what, 2 weeks to find that out? Give us a little bit of time to see if we can find one. So that's with you.
Well, you can set, you can make that determination if you want to have a hearing and then table the rest of it until, see if you can find someone to do it on a one-time basis to the next meeting. If it's not, then you can just enter an order at that point that it's set in front of you.
And concerning these hearings, do we have to have a regular scheduled meeting? Can we have a special meeting just for this? Because,
You could call a special meeting, and I frankly would recommend that you get a court reporter.
okay.
Is this a public thing?
Yeah.
But just to spare all the other, things that come with the normal agenda.
Yeah, you
Just
have to set it
come
on
in.
I think it ought to be a separate. day.
Special.
Set it to the.
One thing.
I think you're sitting as a probate court, not the county commission. You can set it when you want, but
Okay. Yeah.
you're taking a different role.
Good. Motion's on the floor. Any further questions? Anything else related to council? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against, the motion does carry. And we'll try and find a fiduciary. If we can't, we'll notify each legal counsel when we intend to schedule a hearing. Okay.
May I ask you commissioners to set, I'm not trying to delay this, but so that subpoenas and certain discovery can occur, give us time to get those subpoenas issued to a certain date. Once we set something out far enough in advance for people to respond to subpoenas and et cetera. That's all I'm asking, don't set it in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but
Can't do that.
maybe a couple months or something, or 3 months. Give us an opportunity to try to get some discovery to the other side, et cetera.
That would be up to the fiduciary commissioner if you can find. And
Or us,
I
if
think
we
you
can.
probably can. I think Scott's probably a good idea.
Yeah, and the fiduciary commissioners generally have they set a status conference to enter a scheduling order. So perhaps the commissioners we could do something like that and have a little quick meeting with either your fiduciary commissioner or you gentlemen to set a scheduling order. Then it's just locked in. That would be my suggestion also. But
So 60 days?
So I suggest you do 2 weeks to give yourself time to find somebody. If you don't find somebody in 2 weeks, then you set the final hearing. Or, and what he's talking about happens, our discovery, you can order discovery conferences, you can have status conferences before you to make sure the case is moving forward, and if there's any problems, they can bring whatever motions prior to the final hearing, so that they each have an opportunity to disclose to each other what's going on, right? So you're going to
yeah,
get.
no surprises. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all for coming in, and
Thank you.
we'll
Thank you.
circle back in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Is the money still there?
Won't know till we get into it.
You probably won't get
Yeah.
a commissioner if there is none.
So,
Did council say there is no money, that she spent the money?
No,
No. response.
this is Paul Williams. I said that we'll have a hard time getting a fiduciary commissioner if there's no money for the fiduciary.
Oh, yeah. In the past, these commissioners wanted $1,500 or $2,000 up front to conduct the hearing. I don't know if that's, I don't know where that came from, but they have wanted that. And then, of course, one resigned, one became a judge, and one died. So, what it's worth.
okay. Commission back in the next 2 weeks and notify each legal counsel of how we're going to proceed.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you all. Are we still recording, right? Can you check real quick? Where does it say? That being said, our next appointment here, do you have court this morning?
10 o'clock.
At 10? That's close. Marla Short, if you don't mind, we're gonna get the prosecutor real quick just because he has a little bit of a time schedule here. We do have with us Nicholas County Prosecuting Attorney Paul Williams, and this is regarding additional employee request.
We're done, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All
Thank
right,
you.
okay.
You all did. Thank you.
So I come before you guys informally, I will come before you formally asking for salary of a full-time staff, secretary or assistant. It's my understanding that the starting salary is $27,000. I have indicated to you guys informally, and I'll do so formally, that I still have to hire a third attorney to cover for the one who now will become judge of a different circuit. I'm not promising that I will, what salary I will be able to get someone at, but I do believe that I can return to you the salary of the, or at least a lot of, if not 100% of the salary, back to you once January comes around and I'm trying to find somebody to take the third job that will be available. So I'm trying not to make any promises about that, but it seems like that'd be possible for me to do. We've previously had the fourth assistant. I chose, maybe even without the authority, to not replace that fourth person and try to go with three. I'm finding that I would like to have the fourth one. We have a large number of juvenile cases, and I won't. They keep coming and getting in trouble from other places, and I don't want to go into all that, but the fourth person would be handling juvenile matters such as filing petitions, doing orders, setting hearings, magistrate court, circuit courts. I'd like you to consider that, and again, I think the minimum, the starting is $27,000, so I'd ask Mr. Painter to help me. What I need is enough to get through to January and then see if I can recover the second half of the year salary.
So you're adding a fourth staff member?
Right. I'll have 3 lawyers and 4 staff.
Yes.
In June.
No.
I will, if you are willing to put the money forward today, I will hire her, the additional assistant, today. So at $27,000, we're into the new year. I need half a year basically, and then I'm going to try and hire some third lawyer, but at a salary less than what I pay the one I have now, so that it meets my budget.
Mm-hmm.
At least the end of the year.
Yeah, she'll be
stay
sworn in
December 1st.
January something.
Their intention is to stay for a full year.
Yes.
Finish up, okay.
Yeah.
I have no issue, especially while we prepare to figure out what's going to be like to have 2 judges.
It's gonna be great.
Thumbs up.
Says the judge.
Says the new judge. Okay. But I don't have any issue with it.
So I make a motion that we approve the hiring of the legal assistant.
So it'd be, I would ask you to make a motion just to allow Mr. Painter to adjust my budget, at least for the half a year. I don't know if that's how you want to approach that, but I do need the help of the math.
No, we can do that. Okay.
So moved. Cheat on that.
You understand that motion? Tighten it up. With that being said, any further discussion, questions, anything from either legal counsel, any further comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, motion does carry.
Thank you.
So thank you, and 3 minutes to get to court.
Yeah, well, magistrate court will wait a little longer than circuit court judges.
Keep that in mind.
We'll call you in a little while. Bobby.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See ya.
And now, back to our regular order of business. We do have Ms. Marla Short, the Executive Director of Empower Corp. Starting points, it doesn't say the full name. What's the starting points?
It's the Nicholas County Empowerment Corporation.
Mhm.
And like we have several organizations that are kind of like, I'm the executive director there and that are underneath us. We represent 4 counties. Of course, all of our budgets are separate and things, but we have staffing in Fayette, Nicholas, Webster, and Kanawha County.
Wow.
We run child care centers, food pantries, soup kitchens, like the center in Richwood, which is the center I individually direct as well as oversee our other counties. We have like little gaming room and like a toy store and thrift shop that are just really cultured to the needs of children. We work with children from birth to 18, and we work with pregnant moms. We have a home visitation program called Parents as Teachers that's nationally accredited. We also do some work with, like we get volunteers, or if some of our funding will pay for children to be able to take, like we have a dance teacher, and not all children have the, opportunity to be able to come to dance class or to ballet or to gymnastics. And we make sure that children that would not have that opportunity do have that opportunity. We do bitty basketball for about 200 kids from December to end of March. We always have banquets and things for the kids. Kids get participation awards, and it's just all about building children's character and building, their self-esteem and helping them to become resilient. Doing parenting with parents so that I don't know about anyone else's children, but in my opinion, don't live. And not all of us have, I always say I'm the mom I am because of the mother I had. And, sometimes people don't have that, so that's what we're there for, is to help give that little boost and help them to understand what they need to do for their children, and we provide that support in addition to, other resources. But, where there's a gap of service, that's where we can get. The reason I'm here is normally our grants come out like in March and April, and we run several grants. The grants that we're concerned with is our Family Support Center grants. They support our pantries and soup kitchens and some of the staffing and things like that. I have had to kind of suspend our soup kitchen and food pantry in Ridgewood because we don't have funding to take care of it. We're not asking for staffing money. We're asking for money to purchase food so that, or we have AmeriCorps, we have volunteers, plus we have paid staff that, coordinate everything. We all wear many hats. It's not like we wear one hat and that's it. And your cook may cook for a few hours and then she may go work the cleaning room for the kids so that we keep them supervised and off the streets and, provide good services to them. It's the whole reason. I've been with the Empowerment Corporation for 30 years. And, I see kids grow up and need that support, and families need that support, and it changes the lives of children so that they can be better as they grow. So our grants did not come out this year till June. So we normally will get funding when they come out in March or April. Normally we have funding by August. Can you imagine when we're going to get funding when they went in so late? I've talked to our state representatives on things. It could be October. And I'm really concerned about families. The soup kitchen didn't run this week. People are just calling and coming to the center. They're in real need. We know that. We knew that when we shut it. But when you don't have any funding, there's just so much you can do. The girls have almost cleaned the shelves off, giving things away and trying to help families. So now we're just trying to, reach out to our community. Churches and different things help with donations and stuff throughout the year. We get private donations and things. We probably spend maybe $15,000 just on food. We feed, which is nothing. We all go to the grocery store. We know what it costs. We do have the food bank and things like that are resources to us for food. But the food bank is not free. We have to pay for that food from the food bank. And so we struggle all year long. We do food drives and different things like that to ensure that, that we can provide. But that's kind of where we are, because I do have concerns, and I'm really concerned about families.
So you are a nonprofit? I'm assuming?
Yes, we are. We're a 501c3.
And the ancillary businesses all feed in to support that?
Yes.
So I know you guys have like the thrift shop and a couple other things, so they all feed back in. And
Yeah.
how often do you have your the soup kitchen open? Is that weekly?
Yes. it's
Once a
every
week?
Mhm. No, we're open all week.
Every day?
Every
Okay.
day.
About how many people do you serve daily?
I'm sorry, the soup kitchen runs Tuesday through Thursday. The food pantry, though, is open all week long.
Right.
We feed anywhere from, I asked her yesterday, our cook, and everybody signs in, so we know, what our numbers are and things. Anywhere from 75 to 125 a day.
Hmm. And are there qualifications, and if I come in and if somebody comes into your food pantry, are there limitations, or they grab what they want, not where they go? I mean, how does that?
Well, we have to do intakes of things, the state requires, there's requirements of things. Would we turn someone away? No.
But they're not
We
7
never-
shopping carts going back on the door, is what I'm saying. Is there limitations or
There's
restrictions?
limitations.
Okay.
They get like so many vegetables, so many meats, so many, and they pre-box that stuff.
Okay.
We even set up
Hmm.
appointments for them to come and
Gotcha.
get their food so that we can ensure that that family, if there's a way that we can help them. We even do like, work with families with budgeting and, like help with resumes and interviews and just trying to help families grow. And that way, when you do that intake and you do all that information about family, we know where we need to help them. So, and what we can do. Some we can help more than others. Some we just can provide those resources and make sure that no one's hungry. And it's about children.
Do you know how much you're basically short between now and the estimate of October? Or I guess what would be your request of a dollar amount or something like that?
Probably maybe 5,000, but, I mean, but we'll be gracious for what we get.
When you talk to individuals coming through, are they all from Bridgewood, some of them kind of Craigsville, some of them come out of Levacy, Nettie?
We even have
Yeah.
people who come from, closer to this area. It's just wherever you choose to come to. We work with other pantries to kind of make sure we're not, double hand. But in that same sense, if families need, we're going to make sure they have. If they're abusing, then we kind of try to protect that too. But there's only so much you can do. It's just about caring, about making sure that we take care of our neighbors.
Do you work with, no, what's the one beside you? New Beginnings
I mean,
Resource
we're
Center?
aware of it, but we,
Because I know that they get a regular food shipment. I think, but that's fine. They do that fine. Well, I thought, never mind. I had a whole idea
we
there.
don't
but
buy.
If it's the same difference, then it's the same difference.
Sometimes they get loads of stuff that don't have to.
These are all in-county residents?
Yes, yes. Because our, like, Webster County, which we run, they have their own food pantry. I think she's already been to her county commission, and she got a couple other grants too. Snowshoe covers that area, but it doesn't cover Nicholas, so we're not eligible.
The other big thing with us, is, if you're going to distribute county tax dollars, then we want to make sure it stays to the residents of the county.
We understand.
Where's the one at in Webster?
In the Glade Elementary School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we run from there. We run one in Fayette County, and it's in the Gateway Center in Smithers.
Okay.
Canals Center is in Cedar Lakes Elementary School.
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to fund $5,000 for Gerald County.
That motion is on the floor. Is there any further discussion or questions?
Just as we advise anybody, it's a one-time, don't budget us in. People budget in some of these, and then the next year they're like, well, we already put this in our budget, so.
We've never been.
Not to say we wouldn't do it again, but yes.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's,
yeah.
it tend to become.
And we have a grant
Read the
writer,
mind.
we have a grant writer
That's what it said.
here on staff that you're welcome to use if you'd like to get.
Depending on the
She can find
situation and
money.
grant, we can approve each time for her to work on that.
And we appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely.
I would love for
We
you
want to
all
offer that.
to take the time out, and I know your time is not, that you don't have a lot of time, but just to come and visit and see what we do, and see how children and families benefit.
I played Santa the past 3 years, so.
I know you have.
See the kids.
He knows he's on our line, but we would love for you to visit and see what we do.
So again, that motion's on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. So, thank you and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
That being said, I'm going to skip the break on you. We do have Cassandra Lawson, the Senior Project Specialist at Region 4 Planning and Development Council. We do have a discussion here this morning regarding the City of Richwood Sewer System Improvement Projects Bid Overrun Request.
So the City of Richwood opened bids on their sewer system improvement project within the last couple of weeks. And it did come in with I would say an overrun. I don't know if I would say it was terribly substantial, just given like the cost of the project. The original estimate for the project was $7,450,000, and the project came in with 2 different scenarios. So they did include a deductive alternate that can be pulled from the project to decrease the cost. If you exercise the deductive alternate, the overrun is right around $8 million. If you keep the
The
deductive.
overrun is $8 million.
Oh, not $8 million. The total project cost is
Oh.
$8 million.
Yeah.
My bad.
Don't tell me that's small.
Great
buddy.
I'm
Sorry
sorry.
about your luck.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
The overrun is $569,000.
569.
Let me. So the first is with the alternate exercise, so it's gonna be less.
And then the other's 1.2 million.
Yes.
I thought they got 10 million for this project.
This is a completely separate project. So this
Oh,
is the
really?
collection system. So this is like the lines and the pumps and that sort of thing. The $10 million, that project is like completely rebuilding and relocating the wastewater treatment plant.
Gotcha.
And this is the original pre-bid
Say-
budget.
So, but what that office is going to do, in the workers.
Like a purpose instead of just.
I'm like trying to get through my emails.
For each officer.
Yeah,
They're
just
like
so
right
we
into
know, like, this is
to remember off the top of my
Raven's
head.
office, this is.
Some of the names are on
Yeah,
there.
they're just small.
Come on, man.
I don't have a real cast system, I'm doing this on my iPad.
You did a good job.
Okay, so Family Treatment Coordinator Center, TC.
The ABC is drug board?
Yes.
Yep. I was jotting notes down on mine.
So,
Sorry.
No worries.
they originally budgeted for a $1.2 million overrun?
No. So you should have, so you're gonna have 3 different documents.
Yeah, the
here.
one that's without highlight.
So this
This
was
is
the
their budget.
original budget, this was the very original,
Uh-huh.
and it does not include any overrun. So on the overruns, there is a completely separate
I
column
see.
at the very,
I see.
very far
Okay,
left.
So
thank you.
Right.
this is budget, this is full price, this is with deduction, with,
Oh, yours didn't get highlighted.
Yes, yep,
more special.
sorry. I was trying to save color.
Well, never mind.
Wait till you're
That's
president.
good.
to have color.
You didn't have to go. Okay, and so what's the request?
So the funding agencies, we have kind of run all the circles and asked if there is any additional money. You can see the SRF program is included here. They have said they cannot contribute any additional funding at this time. We've also reached out to the WDA. They cannot contribute any
The who?
additional funding. The WDA, the Water Development Authority.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You also see this Infrastructure Jobs and Development Grant. We do have confidence that they'll provide $165,000 to go towards the overrun. And you'll also see the project has an Appalachian Regional Commission grant. We did get not completely solid feedback, but positive remarks from ARC on trying to assist with funding the overrun with the deductive alternate exercised. So we're just kind of trying to scrape around and see what funding we can find for the project. And it helps for us to demonstrate that we have come before, a local entity and vetted that with them. Worst case scenario, what will have to happen is the engineer will have to work with the contractor to value engineer the project, which may mean some components have to come out. So there is a path forward. If the commission has any funding that you can allocate, that is great. But if not, they'll figure something out.
How much has Richwood put in?
Nothing at this time. So they have taken out a pretty substantial amount of loan for this project, and it puts their utility rates at above 2% of the median household income, which is considered the very high end of utility rates. So they're kind of hamstrung with taking any additional loan out. Any additional loan dollars would further increase their rates, and they're really trying to keep from doing that because they are already above that higher tier.
But what's that mean though? I mean, they're gonna get penalized if they keep going up? Or that's just a guideline to try and stay by?
So most of the funding agencies that we work with, that's how you qualify for their grants is, based on how high your rates are in comparison to what your median household income is in your community. And 2% is the max.
You're showing you squeeze everything you can out of the community.
Yeah.
You can't raise rates to offset the loan anymore or else the project.
Correct. And so you don't want to make the rates so unaffordable that it's a burden on the community. So at this point now, both the water and sewer utilities are above 2% of the median household income individually.
And what exactly does this project do for the sewer system?
The largest majority of it is replacement of collection systems, so a lot of that's actually located right along the Cherry River. So where it's feasible, getting that out of the river and actually having it buried within the ground. And then also updating pumping stations and that sort of thing. So the deductive alternate, if you take that out of the project, what that removes from the project is additional pumps for, I think,
Well, I'll tell you where you can save money.
the stations.
Construction stakeout's $25,000.
So these engineering fees are very standard. There is a curve that which they have to stay below. The State Infrastructure Council approves.
Preliminary investigations of $188,000 to $180,000.
Yeah, they put a lot of work.
And I'm not quizzing you, but I'm just trying to say,
After
what's
the
going on
flood,
here?
Thrasher came in and did a ton of work for Richwood to try to get a lot of these components eligible through FEMA, because they didn't have historical data, I can't speak super fluently to that. But because they didn't have pre-existing data on the quality of the system, a lot of that FEMA would not fund, and so they were never paid for that. So that was built into this project as a way to pay them for those services that they provided.
were those services specifically for this project?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We should go with the value engineering option.
But just to.
Well, we don't have $500,000, but I'll just be straight up with you right now.
If we don't have the money, or if we don't have the money to contribute to this, you feel comfortable with funding sources?
I think we might have some opportunity with the Appalachian Regional Commission because they didn't just slam the door in our face. So hope that there's some opportunity there. And again, the worst case scenario is they have to value engineer it to the point that maybe it doesn't get to accomplish everything it set out to do, But the engineer has said pretty confidently, like, we're gonna get this closed one way or another. So there is a path forward.
Does this project include the planning of the relocation of the plant?
No, that will be funded completely separately. So this is just.
Well, we're not gonna build this
Pipes and
line over
pumps.
here,
Oh, it does take that
and
into
then
account.
the plant goes over here, and we have to
Yes.
rebuild it.
No, it does take that into
Okay,
account. So
that-
it is,
yeah, I didn't ask it very good, that's my.
it's planned in conjunction with that project, like knowing
Yeah.
that it's coming, but none of the costs associated with that project are included in this. They are completely separate. So,
I said we just need to decline it at this time, and see if you can find other funding. Come back to us.
okay, well, if we find a situation where we're not able, you know, to move forward as anticipated, we'll just circle back. That sounds good.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I do have one other thing for you, but I don't think it has to be considered on business, so I don't know. I can just go ahead and present that if that's
Yeah,
okay.
If you don't care, yeah.
So for the Hinkle Mountain Broadband Expansion Project, Thompson and Litton is submitting that permit for you to the DOH. And the DOH asked specifically for a correspondence that says that you are okay with Thompson and Litton submitting it on your behalf. They said an email was sufficient, but I thought just since I was coming before you today, I'd just go ahead and put a little letter in for you. And that's it.
We could sign something like that, because that's just a procedural thing, right, Greg? There's nothing like we're making a decision here today. Okay, yeah.
And that's all I have for
Is
you.
there any objection to me signing that? We need a vote, but anyways, okay. Very good, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Do you want to give me those?
And just to be prepared, in case you did not have any funding available, we also prepared a letter of declination.
You know me.
He's been here before.
Good. It's all about trying to get the federal assistance versus spending local money. That's what it comes down to. And hopefully, they are open to it. Patty can be able to make copies of those. Let's see, we had a little changing of the agenda. I believe we are good. Are there any commissioners' comments for this morning's commission meeting here?
This County Fair starts tonight. Folks put a lot of work into it.
Yes.
Go out and enjoy it. It's $10, gets you in and all the rides.
First 100 in are free.
Every night.
I've heard back and forth on that. Is it every night?
They said today.
Okay.
We had, there was a
I heard
question.
first 100 in general, and then I heard every day.
Yeah, that's what they
Good.
told us today. I think it's being sponsored by somebody.
Yep, yep. That's awesome. That's all.
Come to the Duncan booth 3 to 5 p.m. on Saturday and dunk Commissioner Roberts.
Great.
Only.
Commissioner Chapman and I will be aiding and abetting everyone with the ball.
Great.
Commissioner Roberts has graciously agreed to spend total time in
Big
the
part.
Duncan booth
Oh, I didn't know that.
in remembrance of his days in the United States Marine Corps.
Great. Right.
I don't think I have anything.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion is made to adjourn from this regularly scheduled meeting of the Nicholas County Commission. Today is Wednesday, July 24th, 2024, and it is 10:22 a.m. Any further discussion or questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, the motion does carry.